course, I'm Captain Tazaryach PK in conjunction with Black News 102. We here with the brother David Banner. Pleasure to meet you. You know what I mean? Sarnetta hit me up and was like, David Banner was coming in town, wanted to do an interview, and he sent me a video that you had about the time for being nice is over. So as I seen that interview, and he said we could interview, I said, man, I like to, rap with the brother, because I see some of the stuff that you talk about. So just a few questions if you got some time. It'll be about your history coming up first, and then we could deal with the now, because I'm pretty sure you're keeping up with the news, with the situation now in Minnesota, with the brother, with the cop being let off. I don't know if you know, but the brother that got shot in, I believe it was Mississippi, or Milwaukee rather, that cop also got off. So when I seen that video when you said the time of being nice, like it just gelled right with me, especially the agenda that we in the Israelite School PK push, that the time of being nice is over. So I wanted to get your perspective on that, as well as first starting with your history. So I just had a few questions if you didn't mind. Or if you want to say something first before I ask you the question. I'm good. I like that. He said he's going to be honest. I like that. All right, so now one of the first questions, and this is, again, dealing with your beginning, so to speak. A lot of people don't know, like, you lived in your car when you was first coming up. So you want to explain that, like, what drove you, like, because that's a lot of people don't know, like, people's beginnings and, like, the drive that they had to have to even become who they are today. They don't know that background. So what was your drive during that time?
So what's crazy is, first of all, I want to clear one thing up. I was homeless by choice. I didn't have to be homeless. Like, I was a semester and a thesis away from my master's degree. I left school on purpose. And, I could have stayed with, the girl I was dating at the time or any of those things. But I found out in our community, there's two types of people who become uber successful. There's either a person who knows somebody rich or comes from a family that's rich, so they can just teach you or send you to the right people. You understand what I'm saying? Or it's people who have nothing at all, who if they don't do it, then they won't eat. And what I learned about the universe is the universe actually conspires to help you, but you have to demand it. And sometimes we do that by default, and it's called starvation. And if your ass starving, you'll find a way. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And one of the bad things is that we usually drop to our lower self instead of raising ourselves. Instead of thinking, we become carnal. So I decided to go the high route because, most of us, we hustled and we did a few things, but I wanted to do this the right way. I wanted my spirit to be free from having to, make my people suffer because of something that I wanted to do. So, like, literally, I was sleeping in my van, and I built a studio in my van. People don't know this. I went and got first of all, what I did was took $100 and bought 100 CDs. Sold 100 CDs on the corner, made $1,000. Then went and printed 1,000. Didn't buy no J's, didn't buy no weed, nothing. I kept that $1,000 and I flipped it. Went and bought 1,000 CDs, sold those 1,000 CDs on the corner. And this is funny. I'll tell y'all a quick story. I was at a gas station one time selling CDs, and this white lady walked up to me. She said, because I wasn't selling CDs to her. She said, she was about 48, close to 50. She said, David Banner, you don't think I know who you are? And this is when I was independent. And I was like, no, I didn't. She said, you sell to everybody. So what ended up happening, because I'm so big, I used to get real close to the white folks and scare them. They used to hear, take 20, 30. I don't even want the damn CD. Just get the hell away from me. So literally, I sold that 1,000 CDs, took 5,000, bought the red van that everybody talks about. And I got a generator and put a studio in my driver's seat. I mean, in the passenger seat. And if you go back and listen to my first album that went gold, you can hear on the interludes, you can hear the wind, because I had the mic in front of me, and I built a distribution company within like it was like Alabama, Tennessee, and Mississippi. Okay. If it was within a 3-state radius, I would drive my CD. And I didn't even think about that I had started a mini distribution company. Right. So like when I didn't even realize what I had. So yeah, I was sleeping in my van, bro. And what happened was, All Star came to Atlanta. And me and Bone Crusher were lucky enough to have the 2 top songs in Atlanta. And I still handle my business like this. Everybody I do business with, I talk to them, even to this day. Like, and that's the reason why so many people do stuff. So I think the name of the company was United Pressing. Okay. Them people up there liked me so much, they would put my stuff before Universal, before Atlantic, because they had a personal relationship with me. So then I flooded all of the record stores in Atlanta. So when all the DJs left All Star, they went all around the world, and people couldn't understand how the fuck is this dude that's living in this van, like a pimp, was everywhere, bro. I was just and it right, and it literally came from that. Now, since you said Cadillac on 22s, then I give you the mic back. I had prayed that if I didn't have to sell dope, if I didn't have to do anything to hurt my people for my dreams to come true, that I promised the Most High that I would praise. And so what I did, people don't know that Cadillac on 22s was a letter to God. God, I know that we pimp. God, I know that we wrong. God, I know I should talk about more in all of my songs. I know these kids are listening. I know I'm here for a mission, but it's so hard to get them when 22-inch rims are glistening. Nobody even heard that aspect of the song. And yeah. And what's crazy, bro, is that van got stolen in Birmingham, Alabama. And the only thing I had left was I still had this 9mm. It was my pistol. One thing that people know, because I'm from Mississippi, I had a gun when I was 8. You feel what I'm saying? So I've always had a bunch of guns. I own over 40 firearms, all legal. And the only thing I had was that 9mm, and I've always been a vibey person. I felt like I knew where my stuff was. Come to find out, it was close to the area that I thought it was, but something in my spirit told me to leave it. So I left it. I went back home. All I had was my pistol. So if I would have saw him, I probably wouldn't be here right now. I know I wouldn't be. And so when Steve Rifkin called me to give me my record deal, which was at that time one of the biggest record deals in hip hop history at that time. For one single artist and not like a label. Guess what I was riding through? I was riding through Birmingham. So I went from being homeless and them taking everything that I had on this planet to happen to be riding through Birmingham, stopped at the Kinko's, signed my record deal at Kinko's in Birmingham. You know what I'm saying? And went from being homeless to a millionaire in 2-week period.
Let me tell you something. Like, that's an amazing ass story. What 2 things that stand out? When I used to watch that video Cadillac at 22s, that part that you just said, that's what used to stand out to me, because I always used to look for like the positivity in a brother or in a song, because I come from like I'm 42, so I came up in the 80s and 90s, so listening to those artists that gave you raw shit but then gave you positive shit, I was always used to that. So like a pimp was popping, but then when I saw the Cadillac on 22s, I ain't did nothing in my life but stay true. Right. I used to see your face, and I'd be like, he trying to portray. I used to always feel like you was trying to portray a positive light or a positive image to the John. So that was the one thing.
Well, let me tell you this, just so you and I be clear. I was depressed and didn't know what depression was. Like, I was angry, I was high, I was confused, bro. And I couldn't understand like why the world hated us so much. Like, we ain't never did nothing. We ain't did nothing but build this bitch for free. That's it. You feel what I'm saying? We ain't do nothing but give, like, you know what I'm saying? We ain't never do nothing but give them math and science. Right. We taught them how to bathe. Right. You understand what I'm saying? So I never understood that. I understand why they do it now, but the thing for me is that I knew what was right, because people don't know I've been conscious since I was in 11th grade. Right. But I was high, drunk, and come from, people don't know this, where I'm from, when I was in high school was the murder capital of the United States, Jackson, Mississippi. Like, in bigger places, y'all can go a week or two without seeing somebody. Like where we from, you gonna see them at least every 2 days. Something gonna pop off, you know. But the thing is that like I was trying my hardest, bro. And the other thing that I think that, and I really want to make sure that people know this, one of the ways that we get it messed up is that people don't understand that white supremacy pays. See, we think white supremacy is this evil thing that just kill black folks. Yeah, that's an aspect of it. But white supremacy pays two types of black people. That's stalk raving niggas. I'm talking about the niggerish of the niggas. And total sellouts. People who have no culture, no beard. They don't stand for shit. They don't fight for shit. So what they have done now is they have tricked us. And now, because the house nigga makes so much money, that's the person that America rewards. So you end up being conscious and feeling like because financially you are moving forward that you are being blessed, right. When it's the exact opposite.
Right. Because you got... Okay.
All right. Brother David, I'm sitting here and I'm listening to you, and you using the word nigga. Does that sometimes get you into trouble? Because
for me, I don't use it as a term of endearment. See, the thing is that there are niggas and bitches out here. They are. You call them like you see them. The problem is when they describe our people as a whole as niggas is where I have problems. And the thing is, bro, research me. I've historically have always been the same. You know, one of the people that I think did it the best was Ice Cube. Nothing changed about Ice Cube but the information that he was putting in his head. He just started wearing dashikis and changed the like he was just himself. I'm still me. You feel what I'm saying? And since I travel and I see the world, some of my fashion changed just because I'm a more global person now. My shit still fly though. You feel me? But the thing is that people want to change. Conscious people try to change you through the things that they know. That is part of the problem. We think people know what we know, and they don't. One of the things that I've had to learn is if you want people to change, you have to love them and have to show them compassion and meet them where they are. But me saying the word nigga, if you acting like a nigga, don't worry about me. Change the way that you act. And it's funny because one of my Muslim friends told me something that was so dope. He said, "Bounty, there's niggas everywhere. White folks, niggas, black folks, niggas. Niggas is the way that you act." We were the ones that accepted that because at one time in history, we didn't have a choice but to hear that word. So because of what we call the Stockholm Syndrome, we adopted it to actually curb the pain. But we not slaves. You feel me? So we don't have to take that shit. But if you acting like a nigga, I call it like I see it. And if you have a problem with it, just get away from it. But bro, like cut that other part. And let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Bro, one of the problems that I have is that we all think that we are right. Like, to me, this is my personal opinion, ain't none of us died and came back. So all of us believe in the stories that we believe in, but I truly believe it's a little bit of what we all know. But everybody comes like, I know everything is this. I don't believe that. What I do know is a fucking lie. I know the shit that most of us believe in America, the stuff that they teaching our children, I know that shit a lie. I don't know if what I believe in is the truth or not, but all of us know a lie. So it's the conglomerate effort of respecting and loving each other, respecting each other's opinion, considering each other's opinion. Because I give you an example. My Muslim friend taught me how to pray. I pray like a Muslim, and I don't care what knowledge I've gotten, what book I've read all over the world, to give all humbleness and show that you have nothing to hide. I don't care what you believe in. That to give it all up and open your palms and submit yourself, I don't have a problem with that. I've been praying like that for 20 years now. and haven't learned anything up to this point that has changed it. And I respect that. So for me, as far as that word is concerned, that is the way that I describe. I use it as a descriptor. And I use it for what it is. So when you hear me say the word nigga, it's not a term of endearment. It is for what it was used for. And I believe that we are the gods of our realities. Slaves flip shit and deal with it. Gods create. We don't have to flip a word. We don't have to. You don't see no other race of people flipping something. Because in order for you to flip something, you must first accept that you are that. Okay, I'm gonna flip the word nigga. Damn, I'm a nigga. But now I'm gonna flip it. Like, no, I don't believe that we have to do that, brother.
All right, stay. Don't worry, I'm gonna edit that. I'm gonna cut that right out.
Yeah, that was heavy. Something that you said that struck a chord. I said it back in I think January when I was doing the interview. Is you brought up the word compassion, and that's something that I don't see black people having enough of. And if there's one set of people that should have compassion, it's black people. If you look at all the atrocities that have happened to us since slavery, you take the word nigga, like you said, and brothers flip it or what have you. If you take the wretchedness that they used to teach about us mentally, saying we was unintelligent, we couldn't do this, even in 40 years removed from slavery, we built so much that if we would have had another 50 years, we would be on top of this place, which is what the white man saw, which is where the white supremacy come in, where now they would bring in the integration. Now, I don't know where you stand on Martin, but I don't stand with Martin because I felt like what his position was as far as joining us to the white man, that's not something we should have done because we didn't have any power to actually join the white man.
I agree with you 100%. The thing is that most of us, did you know the Martin towards the last year of his life?
It's too late by then, but I know what you're going to say.
But yeah, he didn't know it was too late. But he told Harry Belafonte, I'm integrated. Yeah. No, and what happens is they take white supremacy takes the year out of your life that supports them the most.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? And even in the the historical speech, about the mountaintop, if you listen to the end of that speech, he was talking about we need to financially change some stuff around here. My thing is this. I personally think integration was the worst thing that ever happened to black people. To me, totally.
Absolutely.
I agree with you 100%. The only thing was once I did a comprehensive study of Martin and I think that's the reason why they killed him. It's because he was making that switch. He was tired of getting his ass kicked. Mm-hmm. He was tired of watching his people burn.
Right.
And then imagine this, bro. Imagine realizing, and that's sort of what happened to me in my rap career. Mm-hmm. You go so far down and you think you're doing the right thing, mm-hmm. and then you look in the mirror and not know who the fuck you are.
Right.
I think that happened with him.
Absolutely. What you're saying about Martin towards the end, mm-hmm. I actually agree with that because he did say to Harry Belafonte he was leading him into a burning house. Mm-hmm. The part that I was focusing on was just to channel what you said about white supremacy. Mm-hmm. The thing you said was they cut the year out that was the most important. Right. So nobody focuses on that. Mm-hmm. So all we have is the Martin that had Bayard Rustin, who was the homosexual, mm-hmm. that had the civil rights, let him beat you. So every time we go to actually rally and stand together and be set apart, which every nation in America can do that. Mm-hmm. The Chinese can do that. The Arabs can do that.
And
the
America
Jewish man
supports that.
Yeah, so they pushes it. They allow every nation. The white supremacy part about it is they allow a few things. You brought up some excellent points. They allow other nations to do what they won't let us do. And then the only one that they will let achieve that economic wealth, so to speak, is the one that will sell his ass. Then he could be on the forefront. If you take a cat like Steve Harvey with that irresponsible joke he laid on the brother, I don't know if you're familiar with it. Steve Harvey had a radio show. Cleveland Cavaliers just lost the finals, so he's a Cleveland right. So he's a Cleveland fan, and then the caller calls in. He's from Flint, Michigan, and Steve Harvey says, "Well, y'all ain't got no clean water. When the last time y'all had clean water? Do well with that." Like, that's an insensitive type of comment, but it's almost like the norm for the people that would be in a position of power to actually help black people that don't. Like, you would be an anomaly. An anomaly in the sense of, you said you was looking at your rap career thinking that you're doing something, and then you looked in the mirror and said you wasn't really doing what you wanted to do. Like the cat that went into the car. Like, that was the real you. Like, you gave up to college because you wanted something to build of your own. And then when you built it, it didn't seem like it was going that way. So now you said, I need to go back and kind of like reinvent the wheel or reinvent yourself.
Hey, brother, let me cut in. What's so important with what you said is what I did with my new album, The God Box. Bro, I make hit records for a living. Bro, I've done music from Lil Wayne to Chris Brown to Maroon 5 to Quincy Jones, on and on and on and on and on. So I know how to make a hit record.
Right.
But I literally, with The God Box, my new album, I literally didn't put out a radio single on purpose. I literally wanted to go back the independent route and rebuild my fan base again. You know, and then when we put that album out, or when we put our album out 3 weeks ago, bro, we had the #1 album on iTunes, #1 rap albums on iTunes with no radio single, bro. We beat every major record label, and I paid for everything on that album myself, bro. You know, and I did that on purpose, bro, because I wanted to go back and build something and build a relationship between me and my fans. I know how to put a record on the radio and brainwash people. Right. I don't want people to love. I don't want people to love me because they're hearing something every day over and over. That's called being hypnotized. I want people to be awake when they listen to my music, bro. And it's not easy. It's me and my homeboy was talking about that today, bro. Like, when you imagine the first people that went to any piece of land, you literally have to walk through the woods and the grass. But what you're doing is you're making a pathway for somebody to come behind you. Right. And it's funny because brother Raheem Devon and DC, he's like, Banner, we watching you. Like, folks are watching to see what's gonna happen, man. And I even found out, this is something I don't even talk about much, bro. Like, a lot of these big companies wanted to see me fail, and I found this out when LeBron left Cleveland. The reason why they were really mad at LeBron wasn't about because he was leaving Cleveland. That was emotional fan shit. You know, it's much bigger than that. The reason was 3 black men got together and made a unilateral decision. If Miami would have won that championship that year that them brothers first got in it, when him, Wade, and Bosh got in that room, imagine what all the rest of the NBA players would have started doing. Right. So if David Banner can take his own money, because think about this, when a rapper has a buzz, what does that translate into? Power. Exactly. And what's the first thing most rappers feel like they got to do? Go find a white man to wield that power for them.
And a white woman to marry.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, we don't even feel like we deserve or we have the smarts to run our own companies, bro.
So what do you think about our brother Floyd Mayweather? How he take his own power into his own
well, one thing that I don't do, I don't comment on any other man. Like, that's something that I don't do as a man. Because me personally,
no, I'm talking as far as his business aspect, I love the.
Yeah, but what I do is, this is what I do. Yeah, what I do is this. I applaud anybody who is doing something that is lawful and it has not taken away from the culture, not taken away from the people. I don't care who that may end up being. Because I want to say this to everybody that's watching that want to do something. This helped change my whole entire life. If you can pay, because most of us, we're so enthralled with capitalism that we'll sell our soul without knowing it. But if, bro, whether you selling oranges on the street or you rapping or whatever you doing, you swimming, if you can pay your monthly bills, take care of your family and your lifestyle, and I'm not talking about balling and senseless bullshit, but you can feed yourself, house yourself, and get to where you need to go in order to make your money, then you've won. But we feel like, well, if I'm not competing with David Banner, or I'm not competing with, you don't know what that person did, whoever they are, you don't know what they did, who they under, or who done died, who they did, whatever they had to do. I've seen some people, brother, I've worked for, who are multi-millionaires, bro. And this is where I had this saying. I got it from my father. I'd rather be $100,000 man than $1 billion boy. The fact that right now, bro, if I come up with an idea, I can go pay for it and make it happen. To be able to bring, to be able to bring from the unseen onto this earth is the blessing, bro. On the God box, bro, I used 60% of my album, a little bit more. About 65% of my album is all done by black folks. Black companies, bro.
Who do you have featuring on it?
Features, I got Raheem Devon is on there 2 times. Cap G is on there. Big Crit. Who all is on there? Nah, T.I. was on the mixtape. I had T.I. on the mixtape. I have to look at the back of it, bro. There's so many people, but yeah, that don't to me feature. I want to say this real quick. Then we'll go back. Features and who you bringing out on stage. To me, that's the biggest cop out. Like, you should be able to, like, when the people who are on my album are people I actually have a person. Probably said one person. I know these people. And they'll show up at my video shoot, not try to charge me $50,000. If I'm in their city, they want to show up.
Right.
Like Raheem Devon called me, like, bruh, let's go on tour together. Yeah. Let's go out here and help the people, bro. Like, those are the type of people that I want to be around. You understand what I'm saying, bro?
That sidebar, Raheem Devon, I like him too. He put out a mixtape that I got, and he actually sampled us. There's a speaking. One of the generals in our school, General Mayak, because he's from the D.C. area. General Mayak was teaching in D.C. and he actually sampled it. So I loved that shit when I saw that. So big up to Raheem Devon. Make sure you tell him I said that, man. To segue a little bit, because I like the political side that we're speaking about. The video that you had came out with when you was talking about the time for being nice is over. And then I was listening to your video, and I just wanted to broaden it. As we look at all of the things that are transpiring. For us in the Israelite School UPK, just a little background, we teach who the true children of God are. And we teach the reason why we're in this condition is because we're cursed because we broke his commandments. And you said something as far as doing stuff lawful. Like a moral compass is something that black folk truly, truly need. And we need to separate from this oppressor. Now, when I mean to separate, I don't mean separate like just walk out and don't have no dealings whatsoever. But when I was bringing up like the Chinese man and the Arabs and so forth earlier, they don't separate from their culture.
Every other group of people had their own town. Little China, little Russia.
Right. And you know what else they have? They have a Chinese store in the white neighborhoods as well, because they have a position of power. They didn't have to give up the Buddhist monk. They didn't have to give up Allah. They didn't have to give up none of that. The economic power that we had, I'm going to give an example of when we had it the most. When Martin Luther King first started, and I'm not bringing him up again to speak about him, but I want to use the power that he showed and where he should have took it. The greatest power that black people ever showed was that boycott of the buses. Because what happened with that is when you affected the white man's dollar, that's when he pays attention, and that's our true power. I was saying this in Chicago the other day. We're the #1 economy. Like, we make America run. Like, you know how they say America runs on Duncan? America runs on black people. Straight up like that. And if we took that value that we have, like Martin grabbed them cats. Martin grabbed them cats and said, we'll walk. We ain't getting on the bus. And then the white man said, okay, now you can sit on the bus. Martin should have took that power and say, what more can I take from him? Or what more can I grab? So when you say the time for being nice, I agree with that. But I think that, and you could tell me your opinion on it, I think the time of being nice is over with everybody but us. Meaning, if we want to show power and get, instead of guilty verdicts, instead of not guilty verdicts, to give guilty verdicts, we should exude that power. So I want to know, when you said the time of being nice is over, how far were you willing to take that, or where were you going to take that when you thought about it?
All right, well, that's not something that you talk about on camera.
Okay.
Like, those are the types of things that we have to talk about when the cameras are off, for me. But what I'll say is that white supremacy only respects two things. It's the loss of life or the loss of finances. So I'm not telling anybody to do one or the other. But if you want something to happen, you have to do one or the other. You know, and we wonder why we never ever see any true changes, because those are the only two things. You can boycott and pray and whatever you march, whatever you want to. If you march to somebody's house, then you'll have some changes. If you take their money away or affect their money, you know, that's something that matters. So for me, this is what I believe. I understand exactly what you say, but then I also feel that it's time out for people who are in our community also that do our people wrong.
That's right.
Innocent black, the loss of an innocent black child's life is an innocent black child, and everybody should affect that, and everybody should feel threatened. You know, in our parents' generation, our fathers would go handle that. Because think about it. If you do something to a Russian, who coming to your house? A Russian, right. Not the cops. Right. You do something to an Asian, Yakuza coming. They go, what you think they gonna come up with? What you think the thing that they do with the cars? Anyway, the ninjas coming, the Yakuza coming. But that's the same way that it has to be in our communities, bro. It's like the men are afraid. Like, we have to take over our communities, period, bro, regardless of who that may end up being. So when I said that, I meant that for everybody, bro. Right. Because the thing is, man, is that, again, what we don't understand is that those people, everybody knows, whether it's white or black, you can do whatever you want to a black person, and for the most part, nothing gonna happen to you. Black person kill a black person, he may get 4 years. Maybe, depending on how much light is on the situation. But same things with drugs. Same things with pimping. All this kind of stuff. We want to drug, we want to pimp, we want to kill, but we only do it to ourselves. Because we know that white supremacy will either go lighter or will reward us for doing that. So the same people who will take your life for stepping on their J's, when a white person comes to our neighborhood and kills an innocent black kid, or comes to our churches and kill 10 people, we won't do nothing. But that person who tries to stay in the hood, that tries not to leave, we'll rob him every week, every chance that we get. So we have to stop that overall with everybody, white and black.
Absolutely. What you said was so heavy. That's why I said the first thing you had said earlier was the compassion, because that's the lack that black people have. And there's a saying I always say, like, when a black man kills another black man, that is a crime. He should be punished. When a white man kills a black man, that's an actual act of war. That's why a lot of times you do not see them go punished for that, because that's warfare. And we go to jail for that. But what you said about us doing, especially black men, I'm going to focus on black men right now, because the only way we can change as a nation is if black men get it together. When I look at this generation, like the generation I come from, I almost feel a little weird when I think about Grandmaster Flash and how they dress for what I'm about to say. But the way that we dress today, the way that we carry ourselves, like, there's an agenda of feminism that's being pushed on black men to kind of like remove us out of the household. You have a generation, you have a spirit of the drug dealer, drug epidemic. Like, that 70s was like a turning point for black people, because everything hit. In the late 60s and the 70s, you had the civil rights come, they killed Malcolm, they killed Martin, shut down the Panthers, and then the drug epidemic came.
And before the drug epidemic came, they dried up all the weed.
Right.
That's something that people don't know. They dried up all the weed. And then when they dropped the drugs, a lot of our people were coming home from war.
Thank you. And what was happening when they was in the war? Right. They was getting hooked on drugs. Right. So now you take the strongest thing any nation can have, which is the man. Like, the man is the one that's a fighter. And then you put him in a position, you said something earlier, said you put them in a low position, and they can either stay low and become the animal that they're being created to be, or they can rise above it. And the black man for a long time has succumbed to that animalistic instinct. So, like, our women become whores because we love whores. You understand? Like, if black men stop loving whores, our women to stop being whores. If we stop selling the drugs, then they won't use the drugs. So like, we have to have that accountability as well. And that accountability doesn't come without knowledge, because a lot of us don't, like, you know what I just said as far as the 70s, and that's why you was able to add to it. But a lot of us don't know that bit of information. So there's almost like a re-education that has to come to the black man.
Yeah,
and now
we almost have to start all the way over again.
Right. And before I give him the mic, not the shameless plug, but I do have a lecture I want to do in Houston on the re-education of the black man. Like, I did a lecture on the black woman, on how she's been miseducated with the feminist movement, how that actually turned her against us, when we ain't supposed to, like, a black man and black woman ain't supposed to be fighting each other. We supposed to be united. So I want to do one on the re-education of the black man, on them same principles that you just said, as far as us with the drugs, as far as, like, if you take Trayvon Martin, right? Trayvon Martin got killed by that cat, George Zimmerman, right? But
who's still walking around.
Who's still walking around. Here's a flip side of that. Now, everybody's sorry that Trayvon got killed, right? And everybody wore Skittles and hoodies and to commemorate him. But Trayvon shouldn't have got killed by George Zimmerman. He should have got killed by a brother, like it's always done. Or he should have been aborted before he was even born. You understand? Or he should be locked up. Because that's the life of every average black man. That's what we also have to change. Like, there's two sides, which is what you bring up, which is heavy. There's the white supremacy side, and then there's the side that we can control.
But let me add on to that, y'all, and I'm gonna have to cut in a second, because I got something else I got to do. The thing that, and the next time we see each other, because we will see each other again, we'll build on this. The problem is this, though. I talk about this in my lectures, is about how the human brain, about how the central processing unit of a computer is based off the human brain. Our central processing units were erased. Black people never got any new therapy, not social, not mental, not spiritual. So, and I talked about this. I had to get on somebody on the radio recently when they was like, well, black people have to take responsibility. How? Why? They never had the information, right? And they never had the information. They really don't know. And it's something I talk about all the time. When all of these so-called smart people who are in all of these places but the South, if you're not from the islands, your family is from the South. And if your family is from the South, the Black Exodus was supposed to be about people leaving, going to get information, jobs, and opportunities, and doing one or two things. Bringing it back to the South and re-educating the people, right, or coming to get us and taking us to wherever you are. Some way, somehow, we got up under white folks and started treating black people the same way white people do. And that's that Civil War mentality. Whereas if you're under the Mason-Dixon line, then you're supposed to be smarter. But the truth is, we all came from there as far as it pertains to us getting off of those ships. Right. And we didn't come back and fulfill our job. So as we talk about the malfunctioning central processing unit of black people, we don't take the onus of coming back and re-educating. Some of us, of course, there are exceptions to the rules, but most of the time, people say that they're building. They're not building. They're showing what they know, and like you said, they are insensitive. Right. So in a lot of cases, you make people feel like they dumb. I say all the time to the kids, I'm not talking down to the kids. I'm talking up to them. You understand? I'm lifting them. So I believe that's one of the things that we have to realize, is that our people have been shit on so much. And one of the reasons why the culture of rap music is the way that it is, especially in the South, is because uppity, so-called smart Negroes and niggas didn't come back and teach the community like they were supposed to. So the hood created their own culture, their own style, which in some cases was supported by white supremacy, but they created their own livelihood and their own type of music, which they should have. Because think about it, when we first started hip hop was universal. Then it went from being universal to being just about my city. And if you ain't from my city, fuck you. Then we got so full of ourselves that it then went down to not our city, but now our borough. Right. And now, not our borough, now our fucking streets. Now look at the gangs now. The gangs ain't about this borough against this borough. Man, when I was living in the hood up here, bro, they were literally project and right across the street. The projects right across the street. They were killing we killing each other. So the thing is, bro, is that we have to find a way to reboot, and then find a way to upload the education. But the sad part about it, and I know you probably know this because I can tell we've been through similar shit, is a lot of people, it's not going to be a kumbaya moment. It's not going to be a bunch of us. It's going to be a very small few, because an old Christian preacher told me this, and I'm going to end with this. Old Christian preacher said, David Banner, and in his Christian way, I know you'll get what he was saying. He said, David Banner, before you go to war with the devil about freeing your people from hell, you got to make sure that your people don't like being there first. Because you'll go to war and they not want to leave. So we're going to have to get the children, get the people who we can. And that's the reason why we have to rise ourselves above our spiritual beliefs. And one of the things I agree with Malcolm the most, Malcolm said, leave your religion in the closet. Right now, we have to talk about the preservation of our people. Then we'll deal with the spiritual aspect later on. Right now, our folks are dying, and that should be the common denominator. That's the common denominator for me. Do you care about innocent, melanated people who are dying, not just in America, but all over this fucking earth? That's the only thing that I care about.
2 questions. I'm going to comment on that, then I got 2 questions. They real quick. Okay, what I like about that, like the scripture said, pressure make a wise man mad. That's why you see these brothers project to project, borough to borough, because of the oppression that has never been allowed to be free from us. That's why I said earlier, 40 years removed from slavery, we sold exactly what we could do. And that scared the white man. He saw that they had a 200-year head start, and in 40 years, we were about to surpass them in every single thing that they could do.
And oppression is still on top of it.
Right, and oppression. And we knew, the thing about it back then, what was beautiful back then, we knew that the white man was our enemy. We still dealt with them, but everything we did was for the betterment of our city or our school, our education, our businesses. That's why we was able to build the Rosewoods and Chicagos and Wall Streets, etc. Then when that failed, or then we had the leaders that you spoke about.
And it didn't fail. Let's make sure.
No, I don't mean fail in a bad way.
When it killed us.
Yeah.
And blew it up.
Right, because like, you know what's heavy when you say killed us and blew it up? They say they never had a aerial attack on American soil, but that's a lie.
Right.
Because Wall Street was the first one. They dropped grenades.
I talk about that all the time. They say that Hiroshima.
Yo, son.
Yeah, no. They say that Hiroshima was the first aerial attack. No, that's a damn lie.
Hell no. Because Wall Street was the first. Right. Yeah. And so I wish we would have kept fighting. Like, it's rough. Like, some people might say it's easy for you to say that today. That it's easy to say they should have kept fighting and stuff like that and not compromise. But I just wish they would have kept fighting, and then we would be different. But I don't want to.
Let me give you this in the middle so they can. Let me give you this, the way that I look at that, and just think about this. And again, we'll build when I see you next time. Right. It's sort of like, that's one of the reasons why they let, like when you see the movie The Gangs in New York.
Right.
That was the reason why they let, like, all of those different, because at first white people were as segmented as black people are. And then once the white folks figured out, okay, you got the Irish, you got the black folks, and you got the Native Americans, these motherfuckers gonna kill us. So then it's like, all right, everybody's white. Let them all in. Because if you look at the population of America, it was starting to become more natives and more Africans and more Irish. So then they was like, okay, Irish, y'all come over here because y'all look the most like us, and let's go. So what ends up happening is, because they let all those white people, it's sort of like black people are, have you ever seen a butterfly like drop off into an ant bed? It's just so much shit on us. It's television, it's the police, it's religion, it's just so much ants, and then you got bombings and hangings during that time. Like we don't see, like, we know the ramifications of white supremacy, and we see we see what happens. But similar to Mike Brown was a modern day lynching to send
absolutely.
a message to us. So just think about like those people when you think about the fact that they should have fought. Like, that's sort of how I feel about the South, and I tell people, like, our parents stayed. Like, where everybody else ran and they were able to see just like black people, like, we stayed in the middle of that shit. So it's so much. And then we killing us too.
Right.
So it's all of this shit just dumped on. It's just like a whole bunch of ants, bro. So, you know, I try to be as patient as I possibly can be, bro, because I know with me, just as a black man, and I'm just opening up a little bit, bro. Like, I deal with the stuff with white folks and business and every day. I can deal with that. But the thing that hurts me the most is when it comes from our folk. Especially when they know that you help. You know what I'm saying? When they know that you out there, you don't have to be out there on them streets teaching, that you don't have to do the things that you do. And we go out of our way. But then I also know that was programmed inside of us too. So again, that compassion that we talk about, then it hits us in the face. And we got to remember.
Hell yeah, man. That's a hard job to have that compassion.
All right, they're calling for me. Let's do these last two.
Okay, I'm going to do the last two.
All right.
You mentioned this a little earlier. We seen the revolution of rap, like in the golden era, what they call a golden era. Do you think that type of revolution can survive in these times?
Yeah, I think it can, and I'm watching. I think it can. I know it can, and I'm watching it, bro. You know, when me releasing the God Box and it getting so much love, it was actually set up by Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole and Big Crit, opening these children up.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? And the other thing, bro, you know, we still have certain sections of us out on the streets, but the problem isn't rap. The problem is back in the day, because I don't know if y'all knew this, I used to be on Penalty when Noriega was real hot.
Okay.
So I moved to New York homeless. I used to stay in the garment district. And one thing that I noticed when I used to come up to New York was that the streets, everybody was on the streets teaching. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody. And now, for the most part, you have a few factions that's still teaching. Right. But was that Giuliani that passed the laws, the vending laws and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, that was Giuliani.
Right. Yep. So he affected a lot of that. But now if you look, for the most part, it's just the hustlers left. So back in the day, Q-Tip, all of those types of people, they were influenced by the streets. It wasn't hip-hop. Everybody's looking at hip-hop to affect the culture when that's backwards. The hip-hop has always been a direct reflection of the streets. Who out there teaching these kids now? For the most part, I know there's exceptions. Right. It's the dope dealers. Right. So the streets are influencing the culture of the music, and people are expecting children. Hip-hop has always been relatively young. You understand what I'm saying? So the kids only know what they're being taught on the streets. That was one of the only reasons why I came back to rap. Because if they don't see an elder who is successful, that's why I don't dye my beard. I want them to see an elder who is doing well, who stands for something. You understand what I'm saying, bro? I just turned out, and bro, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. These folks tried to give me a lot of money, bro, to play a role in the movie, bro, that it's not that bad. But for who I am to people right now, it is. You understand what I'm saying? Because an Asian dude asked me, he said, David Banner, how do you feel that Hollywood pays you, your 6'2", dark-skinned frame, to scare white people? So they keep putting you in these scary roles so they can keep America scared of the black man. Right. When the most violent person on this earth has always been an old white man. Always. Always. So these kids just want to eat. They love opulence. We are a people of opulence, of shiny shit. We always have been. You understand what I'm saying? So it's going to take some of us to go and do the right thing and stick to it and be successful. Absolutely. You feel what I'm saying? And I know we can. All it's gonna do is take one of us, one or two of us, and it's funny because the kids, whether they will admit it or not, are leading. You are leading it right now.
Yeah, I see that. I feel you on that too. When you say the dope dealers, that's why we, like in IHBK, we try to stay on the street so that they can see something different. So we get to pull them brothers out, because if you don't have it, then there will be nobody that will do it, because that's the influence.
And then one thing I do want to tell you all too, bro, it's very important for y'all to keep doing what you do, because sometimes it seems like it falls on dead ears, but sometimes, bro, and I know kids tell me this all the time, like, Dave Banner, we listened to your album and it made us feel like we not crazy.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying, bro? Because a lot of times that's what white supremacy does. They put us in these corners and we feel like we're alone.
Right.
When we not, bro.
Right.
We be feeling the same way. You know, like, I tell people how I feel about religion. Like, I told my mom, and it hurt her feelings. I say, you know, Mom, whenever I have my child, I don't want my child to be touched by any conventional religion until they 14.
That's
till they 14, 15. I want them to formulate their own opinions. And they're gonna see what I do. You know what I'm saying? They're usually gonna follow their father, but I'm not gonna push any of that on them, bro, because most of the problems in our life comes from our parents' baggage, bro.
It's a trickle down effect, so to speak. Okay, last question, because I got two I like to squeeze in.
That's why. I'm calling me there.
Okay, no sweat. I'll give you. Okay. I think we need a modern day Nat Turners, so to speak. Do you believe, like, the kick ass, or so to speak? Like, do you believe that that's what we need today?
Okay, good question.
You know what I mean?
This is what I really believe, bro. This is gonna shock you, but I'm not really even angry at white folks no more. I just want them. I just want them to leave us alone, bro. Like for me, sometimes we concentrate on their evil so much that we end up following them down the wrong path. I believe we do our own shit, create our own communities, and protect what we create with our fucking lifeline, with everything that we love. I don't even concentrate on being angry anymore, because that's what kills your spirit. I try to shine. I try to raise myself above that carnal anger. But you touch me, you touch my community, you touch these children, I will give everything. Because at first I used to think it was about being willing to give your life. It's not about being willing to give your life. It's about being able to live, to teach tomorrow, bro. But if you touch what we build, we will die for it. And so, like, for me, bro, like, spending time being angry, training to be able to protect, I'd rather spend more time on that.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Because Academy, we do that all
right,
the time.
Because for me, bro, I found myself being so angry and so bitter and so mad and just waiting for a motherfucker. No. What we have to understand, bro, is it is in their nature. This is what I totally believe. I believe that white society as a whole is parasitic. No matter what you do, no matter how, like, think about it. Think about this. They have all the resources. They own mostly everything anyway. Like, what else do you want? Why are you still murdering? Why are you still killing? It is so fucking parasitic that it will eat itself. I wanted to write this movie about these 3 super smart white kids who started off, they were at Harvard, they were doing all these things, and by the end of the movie, they ended up in this one room, and then you opened up the door and the whole earth had burned, because they were so parasitic. They wanted every fucking thing until they blew the whole fucking earth up, bro.
That's the only thing that is satisfying.
You know what I'm saying? And for me, bro, that's the reason why I say, like, I stopped going down the pathway of being angry. I just want to build for our children and do for us, but be prepared, because they always come. You understand what I'm saying? No matter, because they always tell black folks to get our shit together, and we've always had that shit together. And every time we do, you'll sick the feds on us, or COINTELPRO, or burn it down, or rape it to death.
And the feds say, build yourself back.
Yeah. And then act like we didn't have it together in the first place.
Right.
You know. So Yeah, brother. Thank y'all, man. I really, really enjoy it. Oh, y'all make sure y'all go and purchase the God Box. That's what you do.
This is Crossing Line